All right, welcome. This is part one of lesson 8.2, which is component vector. Today, our content objective, we will identify the components of a given vector that will take you from the starting point to the end point of the vector. And then our learning objective, we will examine vector drawings from word problems and solve them. So if we look at a vector, the other day, we were looking mostly at vectors that started from the origin, but they don't have to. So suppose we have this vector here that starts kind of in the middle of the page, and you still want to find its components. You can see we've got delta. That's what the triangle stands for, delta x and delta y. Delta, so that triangle equals delta, and it means change. Like how much does something change by? So how much does the x change by and how much does the y change by? And you can see the x here changes by 1, 2, 3, 4 points. So positive and goes in the positive 4 direction. And we know it goes in the positive 4 because that's the direction the vector goes. And then positive y because it's going up, and it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points. So the points there would be 4, 6 for the end of the vector. Where it goes in terms of like how it goes, but you can see that the end point is actually at 6, 8 because it doesn't start at the origin. So let's look at these examples down here then. How do the components of these vectors differ? So you can see here, we look at this first vector. This vector starts here and moves downward. So it's going in this direction the entire time. So that means x is moving this way. So we can start here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going in the negative direction, so negative 5. And it's going down, 1, 2, 3, 4. So negative 4. That's the components. That's the direction it's going. This vector, on the other hand, even though it's down here in this quadrant with some negative numbers, it's moving upward. And it's moving to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's moving up 1, 2, 3, 4. And so we can see those components even though they're in different quadrants. That shows us the components of those vectors, the change in x and y values. And that's the most important thing with a vector. Don't get so hung up on the points. Get hung up more on how much is the x and the y values changing so we can kind of see that right triangle that we might have to apply the Pythagorean theorem to.